you might do your work in a place that doesn't make any money, and then you make your money in a place where you don't do a lot of work. You can't do that. And I think a lot of creative industries kind of have to be like that, right? Like if you want to experiment and take risks, you can't rely on that to make money because you're taking risks. You're like doing things that you that might not work, and so you might not actually make money from it. So where you take the risks and where you make the money at different places. So and what that means is where you spend the money and where you make your money are in different places. Like the game where you do all the development is not the game where you make all your money. Is that strange, or does it just make sense? I think that just makes sense. It does to me. Oh, I just filled that in. I guess I don't need to do that. Oops. Let me grab that back. So jumping back and forth a bit, but jumping back to the Star Wars and Marvel movies. So the movies where you develop new IP is not the movies where you is not the big budget movies where you spend all your money and make all your money. Right, like all the big budget movies is just rehashing the same old IP over and over again for Disney. Whereas the new experimental stuff, they had like the indie films, low budget, high risk films. So I think they have figured it out in filmmaking. How to do creative work in a way that is profitable, but you also like have new innovation every now and then. And all it is you don't expect to make money on your creative stuff, and you don't expect to be creative on your money-making stuff. And that's it. That's the whole secret. Assassin's Creed 3, man. That game was a mistake. Which, I mean, not to trash on Ubisoft completely. Like, they did fix everything for Assassin's Creed 4, right? Yes, Assassin's Creed 3 was botched. But then the next game they fixed it, right? And Assassin's Creed 4 was great. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wonder if game developers can be more upfront about it, or if they should be more upfront about it, right? Instead of like pretending like every game's gonna be a hit, every game's gonna be awesome, what if you just like make it clear to your audience, to your customers that, hey, this is gonna be experimental, or hey, this is gonna be the moneymaker. Right? Like, hey, this one is the moneymaker. There's no innovation. It's just the same stuff you love rehashed. And just be honest about it. Right, then why are we doing this? Because we need money. And then the experimental stuff is, hey, this game is probably gonna be buggy as crap as hell. And stuff is probably not gonna work. But we are developing new tech here. I wonder if like if gamers will be receptive to that. In a way they are, because like you can kind of release games in early access, and if you do it half decently, gamers will accept it, like early access stuff. And you know, games like Minecraft, when it came out, it was experimental. It was rough as hell. It was so rough when it first came out, but you know, it's alright because people were like, they know what to expect. Maybe they'll also expect not to pay full price for experimental work. But I mean, you kind of should pay full price for experimental work because experiments are expensive too. Or maybe you can like have like a Kickstarter style funding. Where you're allowed to pay more if you want to. For experimental work. I guess the positive that I'm thinking of is it gives people an informed decision about like which games they want to buy, what they want to fund. Because you know, there are people who complain that, oh, game, there's no innovation, it's just the same thing rehashed over and over again. Yeah, because they need to make money, they can't take risks. So if you don't like the fact that they're rehashing the same idea over and over again, well, you go spend your money on the experimental stuff that like don't work half the time. Because it's experimental. Right, you put your money where your mouth is and go fund the experimentation. On the other hand, if you like don't want to do that, if you just want like one well-designed game to play this year, then you buy the safe one and you don't complain about the lack of innovation in that particular game you buy because you know that's what's coming. I think that'll be good. There's a hole down here. elevated bit. Let me just double check I've actually done everything. I think I can do one more segment today before I end the stream. Let's see, I have 8 minutes. So this part, I'm gonna have to figure out the supports. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because the film industry gets away with it. I think the games industry can get away with it too. Like the films industry, people who watch Marvel movies or Star Wars movies, if you go watch a Star Wars movie, you kind of expect to watch the same basic story over and over again. I mean, wasn't Star Wars 7 basically a rehash of Star Wars 4? Except with different characters? It was, right? And you know, people they're fine with it. They don't need innovative storytelling in every Star Wars movie. Howard says, yeah, it was pathetic. No, what I mean... No, what I'm saying, however, is that you don't have to be innovative every single time. And I'm saying, like, I think they can be honest about the realities of the business of making movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. None of this lines up. One, two, three, four, five, 6. Like, sometimes people will pay money to, like, watch something familiar, you know what I mean? Like, just familiar entertainment. They've seen this kind of thing before, they want to watch it again. There's nothing, like, wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, like, not being particularly innovative. As long as, you know, people know that's what you're doing and they expect it. Alright, so let me, like, build these supports, or start building these supports. Like, people who play, like, sports games, Madden, whatever they're called, I don't even know what they're called. Something something sports ball 2020, whatever they're called. I mean, it's kind of the same thing over and over again, with slightly better graphics. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. Fighting games are not particularly innovative. It's like the same thing with better graphics. I mean, a little bit of innovation, not that much. I mean, even the idea that, like, some people want to play old school RPGs, and like Baldur's Gate style RPGs. To the extent that if it's not old school enough, they complain. Or is it like Pillars of Eternity? Isn't that one of these games? One, two, three, four, five, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe it's all about managing expectations. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. When I come back in the next video, I need to build a support here, and I need to build a support there, and then we continue on. Alright, see you next week.